So I'm going to pose a hypothetical. Imagine redistributing the wealth of society to the greatest extent that you possibly could, evening out all the bank accounts to make everything as equal as possible. What would you do with all the material wealth? What would you do with all the luxury items, all of the art, all of the mansions? Someone's going to live there. Who gets to live in the mansions and who gets to own the art? What do you do with it? Do you confiscate all the material wealth? Do you burn it? Make it part of the public domain where everyone gets to have a few minutes living a wealthy lifestyle? I just introduced this dilemma to point out a couple things. One is that there are limits to redistribution. The other is that culture, our society, has a sort of inertia because it's entangled with art. It's entangled with our art and culture and all of our aesthetic achievements. So you're not going to burn it, you're not confiscating it. Maybe you could replace it. During the English Reformation, old monasteries were torn down and their stone and architectural features were reappropriated. That created the Tudor style. And so cultural shifts usually coincide with a change in the material infrastructure of a society's surroundings. So maybe you could replace art with new art, new art, contemporary art, and in doing so you could install the sentiments you would like your society to have. You could rearrange the social relations of your society, conceivably. Marxist criticism from the post-war era until the present day has addressed the power structure that's inherent into a work of art. They'll seek to illuminate the evidence of social hierarchy and capitalism within the art to expose the way in which our artwork reinforces our class system. And so everything through the Marxist lens, everything that's art through the Marxist lens can be reduced to a form of commodity. And you can see why this is so popular, because you really hit the ground running and you get really far really quickly, because all of the variety of contemporary art is reduced to the form of a commodity. And from this point of view, it becomes fake. It becomes fake unless it shows a self-awareness of this feature. So traditional themes, allegorical themes, ideas about truth and justice and heroism, you're not going to see this in art, because that would just serve to validate an unjust society, an unequal society. And you're also not going to see the more negative dimensions of the human condition that art serves to demonstrate, our selfishness, our frailty, our vulnerability, which were marks of authenticity in the 20th century. This too is seen as fake because, again, we're talking about commodities now. And this, to me, is a very pervasive sentiment among contemporary art today. It leads artists to make nihilistic work. It leads artists to not believe in their work and to show above all else that they don't take themselves seriously, that they don't take art seriously. And it's important for a lot of artists to demonstrate that. And so that's a little introduction to why a lot of art is facetious, why a lot of art looks to repudiate past traditions, that is always looking to define itself against what has been done before.